I think I was earning 6,000 then, and then I was saving 3,000 every month. Fortunately, I got a job which I was earning around 10,000, and then I was saving 5,000. I bought my first car in 2013. I bought it cash. So I decided to save 15,000 every month. I was earning around 30,000. Then I had 520,000. That's when I took that money. I went and paid off the house. When I decided, because my car was paid off and then my house was paid off, that's when I decided to say, maybe now it's time to venture into property business. I have bought 3 more houses.
Good morning, afternoon, or evening. Welcome to the platform. A new initiative that we're starting to try and facilitate some conversations that will help us learn, grow in business, money, entertainment, or whatever field you guys might aspire to. So on this first platform that we have, I have a guest that I look up to. His name is Percy Singo. And as we go, we'll have other guests giving information in different ways. Some will be in TED Talk format, where they'll give their own lessons from what they've learned at work, in school, or research they might have done. And others will be conversations such as this one. So let's get this one started. Let me introduce my guest for our first episode. Percy, how you doing, my brother?
I am good, and thank you for having me on the show.
It's a great pleasure. It's a great pleasure. Yes. Like I mentioned to you, we're trying to encourage conversations that a lot of us didn't have growing up. Maybe we didn't have the mentors that we would have wanted. But now, being in a place where we are much more grown, we realize that there is a room where, you know, we can learn from people such as yourselves, from books, from other guys, you know. Yes, and today that's what I wanna do. I was lucky enough to meet you in my master's class. We're both civil engineers. We met in a project management class, and through an assignment we exchanged numbers, and through that number I couldn't believe what I saw on your WhatsApp. So you are in the property market, where you've grown without external funding. You've grown yourself in the property market, and on WhatsApp you often post milestones you've achieved, and on one of them, you in a series of stories, you posted your testimony, and I remember I screenshot every one of those pages. So I think to get started, maybe to get people aligned, do you mind sharing just a bit on that testimony of what you've managed to achieve in the property market?
Okay, no problem. I started back in 2010. That's when I started working. Immediately after studies, after university, I was already looking forward to learning how to save, and then to save going forward. And then when I started in 2010, I was in internship, but in internship you don't earn that much. I think I was earning 6,000 then, and then I was saving 3,000 every month. I did that for a period of a year. After a year, I had around 36,000. But after internship, that's when you graduate and you get a real job. Fortunately, just immediately after the in-service training, I got a job, which I was earning around 10,000, and then I was saving 5,000. So after a year, around 2012, I had 60,000 plus that 36,000, which is 96,000. Then I saved again for a few months. Then I had 120,000. That's when I decided to say, no, now I must go and buy my first car. I bought my first car in 2013, and then I bought it cash. It was a second hand though, but I bought it cash. And then after that, I saved again for, I think, 2 years. I had 100,000. In 2015, I decided to say, no, now I'm tired of renting. I want to buy my first property. That's when I go and buy my first property. It was around 522,000 in price. But when I bought it, I realized that if I could buy a car cash in a period of 3 years, why don't I pay off this house in a period of 3 years? Because now I was earning better. So I decided to save 15,000 every month. I was earning around 30,000. I was saving 15,000 every month for a period of 3 years, from 2015 to 2018. Then I had 520,000. That's when I took that money. I went and paid off the house. But when I pay off the house, it was 512,000. But what surprised me again is that for 3 years I've been paying 5,800, but the money only dropped by 12,000. The value of the money that I had paid was only 10,000 from 522,000 to 512,000
after 3 years.
After 3 years, which means most of the money that you are paying on a house, it's going into interest. You find out of that 5,000, only 500 was going into the actual repayment of the house. Then after that, I had paid off the house, and then I saved again for 2 years, from 2018 to 2020. That's when I decided, because my car was paid off and then my house was paid off, that's when I decided to say, maybe now it's time to venture into property business. That's when I started buying houses for property. After that, I've bought 3 more houses. I bought 2 houses in Cosmo City, and then I bought another one in an estate. But the one in Cosmo City, that's when I built bachelors. And then it's able to make enough money. It makes around 32,000, the rental income. And then it also changed my savings, because then I was saving 15,000. When I paid off the house, I could now save 20,000 because I was no more paying that 5,000 something. Yeah. Then from there, now I'm able to save 30,000 because it's my income plus the rental income. So that's my story.
So every month you save?
Every month I'm saving 30,000 at the moment. Yeah. So after every project, the savings changes, because now you've got an extra income.
Income to save from.
Yes.
Yeah. So from what you said, what's something that stood out for me, I think we're going to touch on a bit later, is about the structure of how you pay back a bond. Like you're saying, in 3 years, if you've only touched 10,000, then what is like the best way to approach a bond? But I think we'll discuss that later. So a lot of people, in my experience, when they come out of school and they think of their career like you've chosen, like engineering, they don't know that you're going to start from the bottom.
Yes.
Like you said, you started earning 8,000, then you got another job. You said the first one was 6,000 and you're saving half your salary.
Yes.
How do you save half your salary? Like, was there anything, like, did you have extra funds on the side that you had gotten maybe from the family? Or how were you doing it? How were you living with only half your salary when your peers probably, have just started getting their first paycheck as well? They're enjoying life. How do you put yourself in a position where you're like, I'm only going to use half of this money?
Yes, I think it has everything to do with the lifestyle. Because lifestyle is the one which is going to enable you to save. So if you are living life below your means, it becomes very easy to save. And then again, the other thing which is a problem to most cases is the pressure outside, because when you have studied civil engineering, there's a lot of expectations from people to say, now you are an engineer.
Yeah.
You want to live a certain lifestyle. But if you are able to overcome such pressures, it can be easy for you to be able to save. But again, I didn't have any other funds from sponsors or any other money from outside. It was just using the money that I was receiving. But I was in Mpumalanga then, and it was in 2010. So accommodation was very cheap. And then 6,000 then it's a little bit different from 6,000 now. Yeah, so it was easy for me to do that, considering the lifestyle that I was living. Yeah, because there was I tried to avoid, especially small debts. If you've got a lot of accounts, again, it's going to be a struggle for you to be able to save. But if you don't have accounts and you don't have anything, and it's just the basics, then it becomes easy for you to save. Yeah.
I see. And then now when you move into your first job, you increase your savings. So like what are there any like challenges that you faced? Obviously now you don't have a car. So how are you traveling back and forth to work? What are the challenges that you like faced in this time where
Fortunately, the company I was working for, they were offering us with a car. So I had a car from the company I was working for. They were giving me a car. So I didn't see a need then for me to even go and buy a car. So what I was doing, I was just saving that money. The same money that I will be using to pay for a car is the same money that I was saving. Yeah. I
think some people don't actually realize that. So when people look for jobs, they look at this job pays this much, maybe it's a cost to company amount, they think it's a lot of money. They don't look at the benefits, they don't look at how it fits into their lifestyle. Some people, you find a job in an area that's maybe very expensive to live in, then the office is maybe very far from where you live, and those things you have to factor them in because they're gonna eat money from your salary. Whereas, like you said, in your case, you were lucky enough to have a job where you had a company car, and that took away that expectation of saying, I need to have a car. So I think those are some of the tricks that a lot of people, you know, don't realize.
Yes, true.
But from the pure discipline side, what inspires your discipline? Is it like your upbringing, or is it church, or is it, how do you stay so disciplined?
Yeah, I think it started from church. It's something which we were taught from young age. So it created interest, which I always had an interest to say, when I started working, I would want to do this and that. So immediately when I started working, I was already looking forward to implementing most of the things that were in my mind. And then it became easy, and I made sure that it's consistent. So since I started working to now, I can say there's no a month which I can say I didn't save. So every month there was always something that I make sure that I am saving.
I see. When you start saving, so you already had the idea of saying, okay, I'm saving to invest, right? Did you think that this would eventually beat your salary, or were you just starting to test the waters, or how does it compare money you earn at work versus money you earn from the business now?
For some reason, I've been in career for 11 years. And then the money from career now compared to, it's still more than the money I'm making on the side business.
Serious?
But
it's only a matter of
time. It's a matter of time. the business is going to overtake the salary. It's very close to. The amounts are very close to each other. They are very close to each other.
But it takes patience. Like I said, 11 years.
It's 11 years of career. But in side business, it's only 2 years. But what is surprising is that the amount is already so close
2 years
to the 11 years that I've spent in career.
Exactly.
Which simply means that side business really makes a lot of money compared to salary. Although I was not going to have a side business if I didn't have the career, because the funding of everything is starting from my career. So it goes to the other thing of saying, the moment you look at a salary, you must see a salary as not something that is going to give you a soft life or an easy life. You must see it as a seed, something that you can use to create another form of an income. So that's how I see my salary. When I receive my salary, what I'm thinking about, it's generating more income than to spend that salary.
I see.
Because if you get tuned to spending that salary, you will never be able to invest.
Generate more income. Exactly. And you know, like now, there's hype around a hustle mentality, no 9 to 5, people mustn't do 9 to 5, people mustn't go to school. To a point where I remember I was having a conversation with this other girl that I went to high school with, and she was like, I would never date somebody that has a 9 to 5. So in my head, I was like, okay, so how do you become a lawyer with a business if you've never been a lawyer in a 9 to 5? Or how do you become an engineer with a business if you've never been an engineer with a 9 to 5? So I think it's something that a lot of people have never looked at the way you look at it. To say that if you start here, you can build this. You know, because we're not... A lot of us as black people don't come from families where you can say, hey, I was in varsity, I saw this business idea, can I have money to start it? You have to find that money somewhere. And for you managed to use your work to find that money.
No, it's true. Funding, it's a problem to most of us. Most people, they do have business ideas, which they say, I have this great business ideas, and they are great business ideas, but they don't have funding. So a job can become that funding that you are looking for, because if you go outside today and you go to the government to say, I'm looking for funding, it's a very difficult exercise for you to get that funding. But a job, it's money that you are receiving that you can save so that you can fund your business. And in times to go, your business will start generating more than your job. Even if you can have challenges in your jobs, maybe you get a letter now to say you have been retrenched. You'll be able to live without having grudges or fighting with people to say, why did you cut me? Because you have got something which you can rely on, and you don't have to go back to the villages to Venda to say, now I must go back to Venda, because you've got something again which you can lean
which
on.
you can do. Exactly. And I think, COVID-19 and the pandemic showed exactly that. If you drive around Joburg now, a lot of apartments are open. If you're renting a place and you're like, okay, I can't pay more next year, they'll be like, it's fine, because there's no money. People are leaving. And you find now that's peaking is the bond market.
Yes.
People are selling their houses, other people are buying new houses because of the interest rates and stuff.
Yes.
So you see that anytime, we didn't realize this, but anytime it can happen that you don't have your job anymore.
It's true.
So like what you're saying is very true, that you need to have another thing. And
Yes.
what starts as a side hustle to survive can grow into a big business.
Yes, it's true.
So a lot of people talk about getting into property, you know?
Yes.
A lot of books are written about it, but when it comes to practically, people don't understand how you can start off. So when you made the decision of, okay, I want to get into property, and I've watched some of your talks on YouTube, and obviously because I follow you, you were like, okay, where do you buy? A lot of people at work start buying apartments in the urban areas, but you went a different route. You bought an apartment in the township.
Yes.
How did you make the decision, and what have you seen as the benefits?
Yeah, between the two, the apartment in an urban area and the standalone house in the townships, both of them are good, but they are good for different reasons. Like if you look at an apartment, it's good for staying. It gives you that secure environment. So for staying, somebody who just want to stay, I would recommend that, no, go for it, buy an apartment. But if you want to go for business, the problem is that an apartment you cannot extend. So it's a fixed property. You cannot extend, you cannot do any other thing. So if you are making 6,000, there's nothing you can do to make 12,000. You just have to receive the 6,000, and then again you still have a lot of things to pay, levies, you still have a lot of things to pay in such a way that it's very difficult for you to make a 5,000 profit from an apartment. But when you go to townships, you've got that flexibility of saying you can do whatever business you want. If you decide to say, I want to go into a restaurant in a township, you can open it anytime. You've got the land, so you can use it to do whatever you want. It doesn't matter, it's a salon or it's what I'm doing, which is a rental business. So for me, it's about bachelors, which you go there and you extend and you make bachelors. And then you can make more than 4 times the money you are paying on the bond. Yeah. So you've got a strong income from that investment, which it can enable you to go for other investments.
And you're basically living for free. If you're
living for free.
You're making a profit of living there.
Yes.
So you said, what I wanted to touch on earlier, you said with your first house that you bought, your first bond that you got, after 3 years, you realized that you hadn't even scraped much of the cost of the actual property.
Yes.
So, if you're not buying to make a profit, would you say that, what would you need to bear in mind before you go into a bond? Because a lot of people, they say, okay, now I don't want to rent. People say when you rent, you're paying another person's bond.
Yes.
But they don't know that that person, over and above your rent, they're making up levies, they're making up this and that, they're fixing the place, there's, all those things. So what would you say now that you take into mind before getting into a bond? Is it like a big deposit, or is it buying a place where you can pay a little bit extra, or what would you...
I think it depends on the goal. What is your goal? If your goal is to just have a house and then you want to pay it off and just own your house, then I will say deposit is advisable. It's better to go there with a deposit. And then don't do like I did, which you are saving money on a separate account and then you go and pay off. The best option of paying off a bond is to put extra on the bond. If they are saying you must pay 5,000, you can just pay 10,000. Even if you just pay 1,000, you can save yourself around 5 years by just paying 1,000 on a 5,000 rent bond. Yes,
because you're eating off that interest.
You are destroying the interest. But again, for investment, when it goes to investment, now your question is, is your focus to pay off the bond or to create more income
from the bond?
So that's what you have to think around. You might end up not having to focus on spending 3 years to pay off one property than to use that money to start another one.
Exactly.
So it will be much better to go and start another one than to try to pay a bond. So that's why they say you have to use somebody's money to make money.
Your own money.
So you are using the bank money to make an extra income for yourself.
And when you own multiple bonds, that doesn't affect your affordability from your salary. It's just you're seen as having multiple investments, ne?
Yeah, you can use those income that you are generating because you have to have proper contracts. You can use them to afford another one.
Yeah.
So the moment you are owning another one, it's easy to afford the another one.
The new one.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, when we talk about like you said, investment, where your aim is not to say, okay, I want to buy this, own it as quick as possible, but it's more, okay, I want to invest in this and make my money as I go so that I can save up for something else. Like you said, now you are literally saving 15,000 from that. What kind of amounts are you looking at? So if you're looking at like at a typical bond in like you mentioned Cosmo, how much are you looking at? Obviously, as time goes, the price will go higher.
Change,
but like in a timestamp, like in the year that you bought, how much were you looking at to buy?
Yeah. At the moment now, with the prime lending rate at 7%, so if you are buying a 700,000 rent house, you'll pay around 5,300 per month.
I see. On the bond repayment.
On the bond repayment, that's just a 2-bedroom. But again, what we must note is that the moment you buy a 2-bedroom, you haven't invested, because if you put a tenant there, they can pay you 5.5, which means that whole money it's going straight into a bond. An investment is what you do behind the 2-bedroom.
The 2-bedroom.
For me, I went and built 6 bachelors. Those 6 bachelors costed me 804,000 to build everything. Yeah, but I was making sure that they have everything so that it also deals with the competition around in the area. Yeah, so I was providing everything like stove, cupboards, showers, and connections for washing machines and all those things. Yeah.
So you went...
I was going all out. So for each bachelor, for me, I can say it was costing me 130,000. Yeah. Which means if somebody wants to start to invest, a figure that I can just estimate, I will say it can cost you 130,000 to build 1 bachelor. So if you want to build 3 bachelors, you can just say 130 times 3. Then you get a rough estimate of how much it can cost you.
So that's like a nice, fully furnished bachelor.
Bachelor, yes.
I see. And then, like in terms of the return, how much are you looking at? So in a typical area, if you got like that good bachelor, so it's a bedroom. Yeah. You've got your cupboards. Yes. You've got your stove connection.
Yes.
How much is the return that you're looking at there?
Yeah. Let's say, for example, you go and you build 10 bachelors. And then you bought that house for 700,000. You are paying 5.3.
5.3.
Remember, you've got the 2-bedroom is still there, because you can't demolish it. The moment you demolish a property, it's like you are saying you bought the stand for 700,000, which is not value for money. It's not value for money. So you keep it there and then you build again. So if you go and build 10 bachelors and you are renting them 3.5 per month, 3,500 in a township, it means you are making around 35,000 plus the 5,500 that you are renting the 2-bedroom. Yes. So it's more like you are making 40,000 on one stand, and then you are only paying the 5,300. And then if you look at the township, if you look at the rates in township, one of my house in Cosmo, I'm paying around 130 rand on the rates. Which means the cost of running their whole house in a month, it's very less. It's less than 10,000. So if you are making 40,000, you are sure that 30,000 is coming straight to your pocket. And that's an advantage for other projects that you will want to do.
Exactly. So the guys, they get an external electricity meter.
Yeah,
they buy electricity.
Every bachelor has its own prepaid meter. Yeah.
Which is dope. So that now that 800 and 10, how much? 800 that you invested to
804,000. Yeah.
804,000.
Yes.
So you had saved that money.
That money, yes, I had saved it. And then when I'm busy with the project, that's when I realized that I needed more funding.
Yeah.
And then I had to sell one of their old houses.
Oh.
And then that's when I finished the project. Yes.
But like that, with even with just having a job,
yes.
you can even access loan facilities as long as you know you're going to pay them back.
Yes.
But it goes back to like how you can use your situation to make it work for you.
To make it work for you. Yes, it goes down to other things. Sorry, you have to use the advantages around you to help you to invest, to put them into your own advantage, such as bonuses, money such as bonuses. Bonus is money that you don't have to plan anything for it. It's money that is outside your living expenses. So it's money that you can just say, if I'm getting 40,000 on bonus, I can just say I'm saving all this 40,000. Money like SARS money. SARS money, it's money that you don't have to put in your expenses. So when you get it, it puts you in an advantage. There's a lot of those money that can make it easy for you to save. So we just have to look at what can we do. Even if you are a specialty, like let's say you are an electrical engineer, you can use your qualification outside your work to make more money that you can use to save, and then you will invest. I agree totally. Yes.